Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a wonderful guest in studio today. It's Karen Conway, and she's the owner of Honest-1 Auto Care in Aurora, Illinois.
Exactly. We're located right at the corner of Ogden and Eola, and we're in our 4th year of business.
That's wonderful and super convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the inspiration behind it.
My background's engineering. So, and I actually went to, the school I went to was in Flint, Michigan, General Motors Institute, and a degree in electrical engineering, interned with General Motors. Grew up with brothers, always had an interest in technical things and always wanted to play with their toys, perhaps maybe a little bit more than with the dolls and that and such. Their things always seemed a little bit more fun and glowing and explosive and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so then I used the engineering degree, was in the corporate world for about 25 some years, and really wanted to have an opportunity to be able to be more involved in the community and be able to work with a lot more of the community organizations, and also to really be a role model for young women. Because I know when I was in high school, which was a couple decades ago, I was not encouraged at all to pursue the technical things or to go into shop class or to take electronics and all of those things that I would love to have been able to do. But, and you know, when you're 14, you're not necessarily going to argue.
Right.
And so I just wanted to be able to have that ability now that, you know, and it was kind of funny because I always ended up back in engineering, even though I was always trying to be pushed away from it. It was constantly, it was like, well, I'm back here doing technical things again. So, so that was, you know, it was interesting because a lot of people, I knew I wanted to do a business outside of the corporate world. I just, kind of struggled with what exactly that might be. Was it, you know, something along financial planning or something educational? And someone mentioned to me about automotive, and I was like, why didn't I think of that? You know, total natural. I wasn't necessarily really felt in tune with some of the brands out there. And then I discovered the Honest-1 brand, which was actually designed by a female that grew up in the automotive industry. Wow. And I kept looking, I was like, if I was going to design this from scratch, this is exactly what I would have done. And so one thing led to another, and so we're in our 4th year now.
And how are you doing things a little different with your perspective and with being a woman and these days and times? How are you doing this a little different?
I think what makes a big difference to our customers is I kind of describe it as typically when you go to a shop, the guys love the cars. And I tell people I like the cars, but I love the people. And that's just me. That's just my nature. I really love working with people, being able to help them. And certainly with something like the vehicles, and I've felt in my life that a lot of times the guys, and it wasn't anything, you know, bad intent or nothing like that. It's just that sometimes their language is different and they don't necessarily know how to explain it in things that women would easily understand because it relates more to their world. And so sometimes, you know, there's a lot of times where I'll be talking about automotive things and I'm comparing it to, you know, your night cream, because preventative maintenance, you don't have to use night cream, but you might want to. Same thing with preventative maintenance on your vehicle. You don't have to do it, but there's definitely benefits from doing it. So the communication, and because I believe in the communication with the customer so strongly, the people at the front desk are, you know, they follow that lead. The leader does make a difference. And they make me so proud, you know, the guys that work there. The customers have always commented how nice all of them are, and just respectful and helpful to all of the customers. So that customer experience is huge. Another big difference is when you walk in, you're not going to smell burnt coffee. You're not going to smell tires, oil. Once in a while, you might smell gasoline if they're doing gas, you know, the fuel lines or something. But we're very persistent in anything that cleans the shop cannot come into the lobby to clean the lobby. And that's how you don't cross-contaminate and make the lobby smell like a shop. But people are just blown away by how normal it is, and comfy little area for people if they have to wait. And I can't tell you how many people have taken naps in our TV area on Saturday afternoons. And I'm not taking any names or anything. I'm very happy that they're comfortable that way. We're also doing digital inspections, which is something new, so we're still kind of going through that. But what that does is, as we do an inspection, we're taking pictures and notes, and then we can either email or text that to you. So you get an electronic copy of that. And it's such a better way of communicating what's going on versus, if you drop your car off and we call up and say, oh, your brake pads are thin, versus if we send you a picture of what the brake pads should be and then what they are,
you're taking the mystery out.
Exactly.
You're giving me a reason to really trust you because I can see it.
Yes, and I hate the whole concept of the black magic and all of that stuff. It's be transparent.
Right. Well, that goes to that Honest-1 label there.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about, give me a best advice for keeping your car.
The best advice is really, as when the car starts out, you want to obviously do the oil changes. Do them per the manufacturer's requirement. Or even, a lot of times if you get a full synthetic oil change with us, it's 5,000 miles. Some of the manufacturers say you can go 10,000 miles. And that's fine, but then we have to talk about it in the sense that you want to make sure your filter is set for 10,000 miles. There's a lot of details that go into things as simple as oil changes. So you want to be able to know what, do you want to do manufacturers? Do you want to go with what the standard is? We're there to help explain all of that. And so that's really a big thing, is just doing that oil. The other thing is the preventative maintenance. A lot of times, even we'll do brakes, and we highly recommend that you change out your brake fluid. A lot of times people think, well, I never changed the brake fluid on my, when I was growing up. Well, the cars today are not the cars when you were growing up. There's a lot more sensors, electronics, and that rely on certain properties of those fluids. So you want to make sure that they're they're still within the limits of the original fluids, but they do wear as you're using your vehicle. And then stay up with the maintenance. So if you have a tie rod that is wearing, even with the brakes, you don't want to wait until they're metal to metal, because what happens, those parts are there for a reason, and as they wear down or they start getting loose, now they're not doing what they're supposed to do. It starts putting more force on other parts, and it just becomes this rolling effect. So you want to stay ahead of it. So take care of your car, love it, and it will do great for you.
Well, we're all keeping our cars much longer than that. Just as we close it out, what's the one thought of you might give a young woman who's watching this and thinking?
My biggest thing is don't, and no offense, but don't pay attention to all the media images. That is such a small window into the world of possibilities. There are so many things to be doing out there, and just because if something really interests you, take the time. Even if all your friends aren't, with the computer and everything, you have such great tools at your fingertips. I say that STEM needs women, and we need just the way that women approach things differently. So for the young women, just don't give in, don't give up. If it's something that really sparks you, go for it. Don't limit yourself. Never limit yourself.
Well, Karen, thanks for stopping by and being a leader for the next generation of women and for women today. So thank you. We wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
We're going to be right back with more Business Connections. Stay tuned.